For the latest top tips, reviews and advice, please subscribe below.
Hello and welcome to Attwoolls Camping and Leisure with me, Mike. Today I'm giving you guys a review on an exciting modified product for the 2019 season. So this here is the Kampa Motor Rally Air range. So the Motor Rally is, if you've tried to get hold of them in 2018, I can guarantee you've struggled because there's literally been practically none of the markets that have sold that quickly. So going forward 2019, they should be more regularly available from dealers like ourselves here at Attwoolls, but there's an awful lot of change as well to bear in mind. So not only are they more readily available, but actually in terms of the features built into it, it's actually a much better product. Generally the awning itself is no different. So in terms of it's still a 1-point inflation, which is just located down the front here, and that then distributes the air up and around to the main body, so you can feed it on your rail itself, but then you've got several deflation points. It does now come in obviously a 260 and 330 size, the 330 being the most popular of the range by far and away. Last year there was a 390, but that's now changed to a slightly deeper version. So really there's only a 260 and 330 in this kind of 250 deep by whatever width you want. So overall, like I said, it's probably the 330 is the more commercial size and probably the better. But also there's still the range of heights that you've come to know. So it depends on what vehicle you've got on what it's going to fit. So more importantly is you have to measure the bottom of your awning to the ground to really dictate what is going to be the best size for you. Probably the best thing, it can be a little bit tricky, it's not as simple as just literally height down to the ground, but it also varies on where your door position is in relation to your awning, and how wide your awning is and where windows and sometimes are. So as much as it would be really ideal you want to get in contact with us, or we'll come and if we can measure your vehicle, that would be the best scenario of all. Lots of different sizes, so initially the main body stays the same, but it's just different heights. So you've got your S, which is a standard height from 235 to 250, your L, which is 250 to 265, and then your XL, which is 265 to 280, and then do an XXL and so on for up there. But more commercially, I think the S and the L, depending on, tends to be the most popular as we do. Overall, like I said, the same sort of Kampa Pro material, so it's still modelled very much on their caravan wings, which Kampa have been very much renowned for over these many years. So we've still use their really good Pro fabric, but what you've also got is their new dual pitch roof. So you've got a two-part roof here to give you better interior height and a much more sort of flatter front, which allows you to have more internal space for the same amount of space on the ground, which really has made a massive difference. The beams are also bigger in diameter, just to make it a bit more solid and more robust. You've still got little quirky little things in terms of a single pegging point to bring the base and the guy rope out in the same point, and you've still got webbing straps which are an optional extra to give you a lot of bracing when it comes to the robust. And that's not really guide on the side, but that is still rock solid. Bear in mind it's merely on a rail, not actually on a fixed motorhome as such. So this is really for those who are looking to drive, to sort of pick up, drive and stay where they are, nip to the shops and leave the vehicle at all points, so you can't actually remove it. There is a driveway version of this you can look at, which obviously gives you a bit more flexibility, but it doesn't feel so much as part of your motorhome, more of an added part, extra, you see. Whereas when you walk out through the door, that's kind of your living area, whereas you've got a little bit of a buffer gap between. But we'll talk a bit more about that as we have a look on the inside of what this Motor Rally's got to offer. So now inside the Motor Rally, you can kind of get a bit more grasp for the feeling you've got inside of it. And again, you've got a really nice sort of 2.5 metre deep. And when you come out of your sort of motorhome, this is kind of what you're given. You've got two nice big PVC windows to get plenty of light into the awning itself. But then you've also got two panels on the side, which yet again can be completely removed or swapped round if need be. And this can be added to the sort of either side, or just an additional conservatory if you want extra room. Like I said, the 330 is probably the most popular size in the range by far, and what you can actually do is these doors at the front can actually push to the side, and then you've got almost like a gazebo by removing the side panels itself. And again, that helps also by removing the side when you're feeding it through there, it just takes the weight off it, so it makes less strain kind of on the wind-up awning as well. You've got almost like a traditional style sort of caravan curtains with a slight modification change in colour. Yet again, just a little retainer to keep them at bay, but there's a little strap located here, so you flip it over there. And yet again, it just keeps the curtain nice and tight to the front panel, which really works well. And again, it gives that kind of almost homely kind of feel that you've come to know. Like I said, the beam has been increased in terms of diameter for the 2019 season, so it's more like the caravan awnings. And yet again, it's a more flatter front. So as you can see, I can stand up much closer to the front than I could with the horrible, well, not horrible, but the old-fashioned style curved ones. And that's just where, you know, they've really evolved massively. Yet again, you've got essentially like isolation taps here, so that when the single inflation point comes up, air gets distributed through the taps, and then it just fills the rest of it there. And then what you can do if need be is isolate each individual beam off once it's up, then it's all separate. So if need be, you can sort of remove that part, just replace that inner tube, and you'd be kind of good to go really. Generally, one thing that's quite nice as well is a second zip located on the front two panels. So you can actually put a mesh panel in place with the door still attached. And what that gives you is the ability to create almost like a veranda style. So it's a hot motorhome day at the motorhome and you want to relax in the awning. By having the mesh panels in place, you get a good circulation without having sort of bugs and the critters coming in, and that makes a kind of a really nice big difference. What other things you can consider about extras such as the roof liners, which help necessarily to give you almost like a double glazing effect, make it a little bit nicer inside of here. Plus actually will cover now the new sky windows up the top here with a zip down pulley. And yet again, you've still got little toggles for inner bedrooms to go in the main body if you don't want to go to the expense of an extra annex. Like I said, this side can be completely removed and you've got a mesh door positioned here. Now, by switching the two panels round, your door, which is positioned at the back near the motorhome, switches to being here. So just by removing that panel, switching those round, it gives you that nice option. You've got a solid PVC window on one side and this part has got a mesh here with a PVC on the outside. So you roll that window part on the out, get circulation throughout the awning, make it feel a bit nicer inside. The awning comes complete with rear poles to help seal it against the back of the motorhome. So where your sort of part is here, it helps to really seal it up against the motorhome, which actually is Velcro and can detach. So if you usually have a little bit of a gap, if your sort of wind awning is not flush, that's where you want to put some packing pads behind these beams, just to make it sort of really nice and keep the roof taut, but also stop the back part of the beam just suspending in mid-air. You can buy some limpets. There's little pre-punched holes in here for limpets just to help to seal it on, but you need a completely flat surface to do that. But check out the limpet video if you are questioning what is a limpet first of all, and just it's a way of doing it. One consideration certainly with these are draft skirts, because essentially when you walk out the door, you know, you could have some draft coming underneath the vehicle, which we now sell sort of draft skirts, pre-cut, ready to go. They're called dual fix with limpets attachments, and you can check that out on our website, which you can see at attwoolls.co.uk. Overall, really impressed more. I love the, essentially they've took a product that's in demand and gone and made it even better, so I can imagine the demand for the motor rally to be probably even more than it was last year, coincidentally enough. But generally it's something that we have normally some sort of version of this up on our indoor display showroom in Gloucestershire. Like I said, bring your vehicles down to us if need be, and we can physically measure it to make sure you walk away with the right product and be happy with it as well. But generally, really impressive morning. It just helps to elongate in the strength that fixed awnings are probably becoming more common than not. And if you are looking for something that's in the driveway market, that's where they do kind of these versions and the feel you have with this, but in the ability to detach it, drive off to the shops and come back again and reattach. But have a look at other videos we've got on our YouTube channel. Any question or queries, feel free to get in contact with us here at Attwoolls. But that is our little video review on the Motor Rally 330 and the 260.